Thanks for coming, first of all. I mean, there's so much going on tonight. I'll be honest, I knew Macomb would support us, but I was shocked by the crowd. Being spring break and St. Patty's Day and March Madness. I told our players, I don't know how many people are going to be there, but the people that are there are really going to care, and they did, and they were the difference in the game. It's kind of a program-changing victory, which is just really special because these girls sacrificed so much to be here. I mean, to be a 21-year-old kid and be on the beach in Georgia or in California or an hour from a flight to Mexico and to turn around, come back to be with your team, and then to give just a gutty effort like that is just, I told the girls in the locker room, it may be the WBI, but that is March Madness. I mean, the drama of the game, the big shots, the big calls, the drama of everyone getting here over spring break, it was just March Madness, and they rewrote the story of our season tonight, which is just so cool. A lot of big shots. I think back to Maher's three that hit the back of the iron, just kind of stuck there and rolled in. I think about the last second shot to send it to overtime, put a lot of loft on the pass, and Maher was able to make a good finish. And then, we only had, 2.8 seconds or 2.9 there. And for Emily Clemens to have the mental clock, almost every kid there would kind of freak out and throw one up a little too early. And for her to have the mental clock to catch, take a couple dribbles, make a real quick pass, it was just, it was unbelievable. And Mallory for her second game-winning finish of the year is just so special. So it was just a special, special win with all we've went through, all the stress we had the last couple of days. Our administration stepped up, to host a game over spring break, and the staff came, to run the facility and everything. It was just, I feel like I'm rambling. I'm usually pretty good in these situations, but that was like nothing I've had before. And Bowen can't miss the whole thing. Missed the whole speech. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were coming. I figured you took off. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
How ironic is it that on the first day of March Madness and the big tournament, maybe the best game in the country was here today?
It really might have been. I mean, it's so cool because, there was a thought of you that thought we did all this, we brought all these girls back, and what if we go out there and just lay an egg? We hadn't practiced in forever. Kids in a car and playing everything, but it was magical. And just to have a March Madness like game, it probably won't make ESPN. I'll tell you what, it should. And it was a memory that I as a coach will never forget, and these players will never forget. And it makes everything we did to get here worthwhile.
Speak of the value of being in a postseason tournament too. Like you said, this could be a program changer for you, like you said.
Yeah, and I really tried to talk to the girls about it. That just showing up and playing that game tonight. They were doing something that the women's team hadn't done in 10 years, going to a postseason tournament. We hosted the first postseason game in the D1 era ever here, men's or women's, and now we won the first postseason game, men's or women's basketball in the D1 era. So, I talked to them about just being here and hanging that banner was huge. And then for them to come out and just fight like that, to out-rebound that team is just beyond words because, we're thinking if we can keep the rebounding margin within 10 or 12, we've got a chance.
You get 99 points without practicing. What does that say?
What
does that say about what you guys were able to do?
I'm really worried about the younger kids saying we just shouldn't practice next year. But there's something to being fresh. And I think mentally, we kind of as a coaching staff and even as a team talked about that. Like maybe in a way that'll help us. Now at the beginning, even though we got off that 9-2 start, you could tell we were just a touch rusty. We still missed some easy layups and we kind of had some mishandling of the ball. But mentally, it was like a lot of times that first week or two of the season is when you're best offensively. And, you're not overthinking things. You're not in where you're making a lot of adjustments. And tonight we played like that. I told them before, I think if you go out and play against your AU teammates or your other D1 players when you went home, you probably played pretty well. So let's go play well tonight against Southern.
Those two game-tying shots by Michelle, those both came with like less than 10 seconds. That's about as clutch as it gets. What did you see on those?
Just clutch shots. For her to be able to put that three-pointer right on the back of the iron with just enough touch to roll right in, that's something she practices. But, she's hit Myers hit a ton of big shots for us, and that's who we wanted the ball. We wanted the ball in her hands, and to hit that big three, and then the layup was a really tough layup. I told Taylor right before, don't put too much loft on that pass and let them catch up. And I think she didn't hear the don't part, and she just lofted that thing up to the rafters. It took forever to come down, and we made a good finish, but it was a clutch pass as well. But those were big shots. And then of course when she fouls out on kind of a crazy play, and now you need that last second shot. It was when we always go to her. It was a little bit scary, and I thought Emily did a great job of just stepping up and making a play down the stretch. And I've always said Mallory's our best layup shooter, so I'm glad that they got her the ball.
Was that the design, was just clear out for Emily, and Emily, if you got a shot, take it. If you don't, try and find someone?
Yeah, we basically ran the play like design, but it was pretty much as Emily run off that double screen, either shoot it, kick it to Farrah, or hit the dump pass. The amazing thing was her clock understanding. I mean, I think that's so hard. Usually a kid would kind of chuck up like a runner there thinking, they had less time, and it was close. I'm glad we didn't have a monitor tonight. I do think it counted, but I would have added some extra stress to check the monitor.
Coach, given we're Division I women's basketball, there's an elite handful, that they're going to win it every year, it seems like. And you never talk about parity, but when you're developing a program to be able to play more games, I mean, how much value is there in that you get to be with your team now for 3 or 4 more days too? I mean, it's just so big for our program. I mean, like I mentioned, we rewrote the story of the season. So now when we're out on the recruiting trail, it's how'd your team do this year? Well, we went to the WBI. We won the first round game or whatever we end up doing. And I've been telling these girls all along, they had a successful season. And sometimes 15-15 doesn't look, it looks mediocre, but with what they went through before the year, the adversity they faced, and then our conference was really good this year. Our non-conference schedule I thought was really solid. So to go 15-15 and put themselves in a position where, yes, some things went our way to get in the WBI, but we were still in that position where we could take that slot. I think was it's a program changer.
Is South Carolina a good spring break trip now?
Yeah, I felt bad for the kids that weren't going anywhere. Liz Katowski's in Mount Vernon, Iowa. Like, she needs to go on a spring break trip. So I figured we'd all go to South Carolina together, if we can afford it. Anything
You were
else?
able to beat a 20-win Valley team. I mean, what does that say about where your program is at?
Yeah, I mean, just talking a 20-win Valley team, and a team that RPI, I was talking before the game, is higher than North Carolina's, higher than Illinois, higher than I think Texas Tech, at least the real-time RPI side I go to, not the official RPI. But to show that we can play, first of all, I think it says a lot about our conference, the Summit League. That we finished 5th in the Summit League, and we're 8-8 and can beat a team like that. But it just says so much about our girls. And these seniors, I told them in the locker room after what we thought was our last game that the program was in way better shape than it was now, and then when they came in. And I think they believed me, but now I'm sure they believe me. And I think that was, not many people get that memory. I've never had that before. And so for these kids to get that memory is just special.
What's going through your mind after that game winner again?
I was just really excited for our team. I mean, everyone came back from so many different places to play this game, and I was like, I did not leave the beach to lose. So I was just really excited we got the win.
Where were you at for your spring break?
I was actually in Greenville, South Carolina, where we were going, and then I actually from there with my brother lives there, and then we went down to Georgia and we were there for a little bit.
Okay, was the shot on time, you think?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Yes. Definitely.
Did you think it was on time?
There's always questions like, should there be other tournaments, and what unfolded in those last couple minutes, I mean, how excited you girls were. I mean, how affirming is it that you got better, your team got better tonight too, and you better believe you want to play more games, right? I mean, how does that kind of speak to you right now?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of questions coming into this game. How are we going to play? Where are we going to be in shape? And I just think we went out there and had the most fun we've had all season. That's what we were going for. We did a great job of that, and obviously there was some people that stepped up huge in the end.
Michelle, in the last 10 seconds of regulation, you came up with not one but 2 game-tying shots to keep the game alive. How were you able to do
Honestly, I have no idea how that 3 went in. Just my teammates making great passes. Taylor on that lob, something we practice a lot. But yeah, just extremely excited for this program.
Taylor, did you throw it too high? Or was it?
I think it was a perfect pass.
Yeah.
I think he's just exaggerating because it was a stressful moment. But I think it's the second time I've had to do it, and this time I felt a little less pressure just because I knew that I had done it before, and it's just a fun situation to be in, and overall I'm glad it works out.
Taylor, when your coach calls it a program changer, I mean, how fulfilling and exciting is that, especially given the last week or so?
It's very exciting. Being a freshman and knowing that it's only my first year and all of this exciting things are happening already, I just know that there's so much more to come in the future, and obviously we're going to miss players like Maher and Sophie and Paige and Liz next year, but I think we have a lot coming for us too.
Is South Carolina a good spring break trip?
Yeah, I think so. I'm playing basketball. I think it makes it even more fun.